Hello, my name is Julie Dennis Fox, and I am the founder and formulator of Canna Joint Relief with CBD. Welcome. It is my honor and my pleasure to be here today, and I appreciate your participation, your attendance. I know time is precious, so any amount of time I get to spend with you certainly is appreciated. And again, it is my honor and my pleasure to be here today. Thank you for joining me. A couple things. First, I'm not a practitioner. I'm not here to treat, cure, or mitigate disease. I always recommend, if you're going to do so, please work with a qualified healthcare practitioner to really design a protocol that would be best for you. We're all so different, so our needs are different, and those things that will most support our health may be slightly different as well. So again, I invite you to work with a professional to devise protocols that are best for you. Although I'm not a practitioner, I have been around in this natural products industry for decades. For about 20 years of that time, I have been the educator for Source Naturals, Planetary Herbals, and Rainbow Light Nutritional Systems. I'm also on the Cannabis Committee of the American Herbal Products Association. I've worked with the American Botanical Council throughout the years, most recently reviewing cannabis research. So yes, I have been dedicated to the cause, the herbal cause, for many, many years. In fact, my passion for botanicals started from a very young age. I was about 15 years old on a worker's permit out of high school and working at Burger King, and about a block away, I was working at this health food store, VP Health Food in North Hollywood, California, just in Southern California. This was in the 1970s. So I realized my passion for healthy living at that point. Certainly working in those two establishments made it very clear which direction I was going to go in, which meant a healthy life, a healthy lifestyle. And I remember the day I'm standing at the register just beyond the front door you see here, VP Health Food. I believe it's still there. I'm at the register and I'm reading this little pamphlet on golden seal. And at the time I'm looking at the photograph and I'm thinking, totally nondescript looking plant at that point to me. Nondescript. And yet this little pamphlet described the traditional usages. It described the chemical compounds and the science behind the plant. And I was captured. That was it for me. I knew it truly was that the classic epiphany, the sunbeam was coming through that front door. And I knew in that moment that I would be studying and using and touting the benefits of herbal remedies for likely the rest of my life. I'm in my 50s now, so that passion to bring botanicals to my larger community in all these decades has not waned one single bit, in part because I am very passionate that I believe this is a revolutionary tool. If more people were embracing herbal remedies and using that as a first line of defense for our health and well-being, the planet would be happier, our internal environment, our health might be happier as well. I mean, the trickle-down effect, our happiness affects our immediate families and our larger communities, et cetera, et cetera. So I chose that as my gauntlet that I picked up to pursue this and to help the world and my people be healthier and happier. So, of course, in this pursuit of herbal knowledge, within that pursuit, I'm reading about and researching botanicals from all over the world. And naturally, I come upon cannabis and its traditional usages and its science, just another herb that has been used for centuries by human beings. In fact, this is Sanskrit written on hemp paper, cannabis plant. It's not discussing cannabis or hemp, it is simply written on hemp paper. This, by the way, is the Ebers papyrus from approximately 1500 BC. And although it is not written on hemp paper, it does discuss the use of hemp as a topical for support of a healthy inflammatory response. I'm sure they don't use that terminology, but I do so today. So 1500 BC, cannabis, hemp, been used by humans for a long, long time. Here you see the pinyin, the Chinese uh, image for the hemp plant, been used in traditional Chinese herbalism for these centuries as well. And even within our own American pharmacopoeia was used for quite a while in the colonial days and pre-colonial days. And then it was just really for a short sliver of this large expanse wherein cannabis was deemed illegal, the evil weed, et cetera, et cetera. Again, though, just a short sliver of time. So it's back. We're using it in all its beautiful forms, from fiber to fuel to dietary supplements, and also within my own product, Canna Joint Relief with CBD. And that CBD is from hemp. Again, hemp is a cannabis plant. This has been around for some time. I knew that for my own product, if I were going to put a label on something, it would have to cover these, very simplistically, these categories. It had to be a focused, targeted formulation. There's no extras added. It had to be clean. It had to be organic. And I wanted for the customers and my community for it to be very transparent. Who is behind the product? What are the lab results showing? Which, by the way, are popped up onto our website. So these things had to be addressed within my own product, which started out about, it's 2020 now, during the middle of a pandemic. I hope you're all doing healthy and safe and sound. But this was about 9 years ago. I'm living up in Nevada City, California, in northeastern California. And in fact, in the beautiful Sierra foothills where our home is, and very close to our headquarters in Grass Valley, in fact. Well, lo and behold, when I moved up to this area, I did not realize this, but most of the county, in some capacity at that point, was involved in cannabis growing. So being an herbalist, every harvest season, September or October or so, I would end up with people giving me an abundance of cannabis. I'm an herbalist, so it didn't take me long to figure out there are certain things I could make with it. I could do balms and tinctures and teas. I made all sort of things and would simply give those things, and including the original Canna Joint Relief, to my community, give it away every year, put a little bow on it. This is one of the original labels when I started to get fancy. It was some years of me just putting it into a mason jar and giving it away to my community. I had that much raw material coming at me. Put it in bags. This is where you start to get a little fancy, little bows on those bags during the holidays. Eventually, I decided to put a label on it and start selling to dispensaries. This was a while ago, but it's not like it is today, where dispensaries are considered an essential business here in California. During the pandemic, they remain open. It's a whole new world. Back then, when I started in the dispensary industry, it was very uncomfortable for me. Again, I have spent most of my career in the natural products industry, in the dietary supplement aisles, in retail stores. And so at that point, dispensaries, often in kind of sketchy neighborhoods, warehouse districts, guards with guns, cash-only bases, just a whole can of worms. So as soon as I realized I could jump into the retail stores, my lane, with CBD from hemp, that's when I got into the Canna Joint Relief that we know today. This, by the way, when I did first put a label on it, this was the original label. It's an homage to the Indian sadhu who actually imbibes in cannabis before their yogic meditations. And then again, getting more and more professional through the years and opening the doors for others to benefit and use Canna Joint Relief. And again, if my whole thing is to get more people to use herbal remedies as part of their first line of defense, I know I'm doing my job. So From the feedback I get, I'm very pleased with having gone through all this and having gone through all this in such an early trajectory. I got into the cannabis business, the hemp and CBD business early as the laws were continuing to roll out, as they still roll out today. So it hasn't been as some people may think, a get rich quick scheme. Hardly. This is just a part of my passion, a reflection of my overall passion, and I'm in it for the long haul. So what's in it? We have, of course, the CBD, including the full spectrum and the CO2 extracted CBD. I also include, though, I didn't want to just rely on CBD. I included those other botanicals that I have come to know through the many years of me researching botanicals. I included those botanicals: organic hops, organic ginger, organic lavender flower, organic essential oil of lavender. I included these botanicals for a wide range of reasons, but certainly the formulation remains targeted, remains focused. Again, not a lot of extra things thrown in there, but those things that are in there are going to have an impact. And I knew that. Those botanicals, the extra botanicals, by the way, the hops, ginger, lavender, and again, those are organic, CCOF organic. Those go through a process called extended extraction. This is using traditional herbal methods to actually draw out the herbal potency over an extended period of time. It takes about 3 or 4 days to make one batch. And it is not quick, it is not easy, but as we know throughout these years now, the end result is worth it. So the extra effort is worth it because my goal is to support the health of my larger community. I'm going to do what it takes to do that within my own product, of course. Third party tested, again, I wanted complete transparency. I know how important that is to me as a consumer, so I'm assuming to you as well. It's very clean, no parabens and sulfates, phthalates, petroleum, colorants, preservatives. Again, I wanted a product that I myself would want to use, and that means it's going to be very clean, very organic. In a nutshell, that's it. It has taken me decades to come to this point, and ultimately, it's my honor, it's my pleasure, and I am accessible to you. Should you have any questions remaining, you can reach me through the website, cannajointrelief.com. Messages do get filtered down to me, so don't hesitate to reach out. Again, thank you for your time.